Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. When Weston Games was still publishing games, they made it a habit of buying up the rights to do games for various movies that were out. They did, with their D6 system, they did games such as Star Wars, Ghostbusters, and Man in Black. And under their MasterBook rules, they did games such as Species, Indiana Jones, and Tank Girl. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the games from the MasterBook line of movies that they had the rights for, and that is Tank Girl. So let's get started. To play this game, what you'll need is a copy of MasterBook core rules, a copy of the World of Tank Girl rules, 2 10-sided dice, and optionally the Master Deck cards. So let's go ahead and get started. The Tank Girl book has 158 pages and a copyright of 1995. It was published by West End Games. The artwork in this book is all in black and white and goes back and forth between what you would find in the Tank Girl comic books and the Tank Girl movie. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork now. The artwork in the book is all in black and white. It goes back and forth between still shots taken from the movie and pictures taken from the comic book series. I think the book would have benefited greatly with color pictures, especially for the movie stills. But this is my favorite picture because you can never have too many ninjas. Most people remember Tank Girl from the movie, and it's got a pretty big fan base for the movie alone, but it was also a set of comic books before they made a movie. The book does a good job of bringing together what you found in the movie and in the comic books together to build a world for a role-playing game. To build a character in this game uses the standard rules that you would find in the MasterBook. It has 8 core abilities, which are agility, dexterity, endurance, strength, intellect, mind, and charisma. To generate the scores for these, you get 68 points split amongst them, and they have to have at least 5 in them and cannot go beyond 14. However, in Tank Girl, they allow the option of allowing you to take a score to 14, but you have to take one of your other scores down to 4. That's an option for the Tank Girl setting. It also gives a listing for the advantages and disadvantages that are available in the Tank Girl game. It has a list of skills that you would use in the Tank Girl game, plus some new skills exclusive to this game. One of the other options they have for the Tank Girl setting is a set of skills called useless skills. The useless skills, everybody has some. You get them for free. The formula for them is you add your intellect and your mind together and subtract that total from 30 and then divide it by 4 and you round up. So with that formula, if your character is not that smart, you get more useless skills. If you're smarter, you get fewer. The useless skills are pretty interesting. They have stuff like can pry the tops off of beer bottles with your teeth. Uh, Talent for giving wet willies. A talent for giving noogies. Knows the value of every collectible plate. Can pick stuff up with your toes. Useless skills, which is interesting. The Tank Girl game also gives some options for combat, such as hit location and bleeding and stuff. One of the neat parts about this book is throughout the book, they have little blurbs where it's Tank Girl explaining how she feels about the rules, which is kind of interesting. In the option combat section, when they talk about hit location, she gives her version of how to figure out hit location, which is hilarious. Basically, you stand your target up against the wall and you pelt them with dice. Wherever you find the abrasions, that's where you randomly hit. That's pretty funny. But anyway, after that, they give a chapter dedicated to vehicular combat, which, from the name Tank Girl, you can pretty much guess that there's probably a lot of vehicular combat in this game. They give you a bunch of options for that too. They also give you a page that you can photocopy with little markers of tanks, trucks, cars, motorcycles, pedestrians, squished people, to lay out as a kind of a miniatures thing, which is kind of nifty. There's also a section here that talks about the different equipment and weapons and armor and stuff available in this game. A section on the different power groups in this game. There's a section here that talks about the world of Tank Girl, giving you a pretty good idea of how the environment is set up. Basically, a big comet hit the world and decimated the whole planet to the point of turning it into a desert, where water is now the most valuable and precious resource and is spent kind of like money and units of liters. It's pretty nifty. So all your equipment and everything is bought by liters of water instead of cash. There is a adventure in this book to kind of get you started and give you a feel for how it can be ran. The adventure is called The Last Convenience Store, and it's pretty interesting. It gives you a list of adventure hooks so you can create your own stories and do your own thing. In the back, there's also a list of pre-generated characters for to use if you want to. Stuff like rippers, psychotic punks, mad scientists, a platypus wrestler. Just different things. All in all, it's a pretty good book. Pretty fun to read through. If you're a fan of Tank Girl, it's pretty good. So it brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? I probably would. This game's crazy. The whole setting's crazy. It would be fun to play. Would I run this game? Yes, I would. And I sort of almost did once. A friend of mine had a copy of this book, and I had a copy of the MasterBook. So he loaned this book to me, and I read it, and I was going to run it. We all got together, and we generated characters. But before we got to play in the next session, there was some drama in the gaming group I was with. We never got around to playing. We settled it down, and we played other games. My friend took his book back, and we never came back to Tank Girl. Years later, I bought a copy of my own because my wife is a big fan of Tank Girl. But yeah, I would run it. Would I recommend this game? Yes, I would. The MasterBook system is a pretty good system. Pretty straightforward. And like I've said in the video about the MasterBook. If you have a world book for it, run it. If you have Tank Girl and the MasterBook core book, I would recommend it. And that's pretty much all I got to say about Tank Girl for now. Thank you for joining me at this look at the Tank Girl role-playing game. Hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.